الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين اللهم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي رب زدني علما رب يسر ولا تعسر وتمم بالخير ثم أما بعد والحمد لله. Respected children, respected sisters and respected brothers, welcome to our continuation of the monthly story time in here in Darul Ummah Jama Masjid in Shadwell, East London. Today we are going to study the story of another prophet from the various prophets that we've studied before. We haven't covered the story of Sayyidina Dawud alayhi salatu wassalam. Anyone here know the story of Sayyidina Dawud? Prophet Dawud, anyone heard the story of Prophet Dawud alayhi salam before? No? That's good. Oh, you have heard it. Can I see a show of hands? Who knows the story of Sayyidina Dawud alayhi salam? Okay. And the rest of us don't know, which is good because inshallah you'll be able to learn it today. The Prophet Dawud alayhi salam was a very powerful prophet. He was a king and a prophet. Okay? And he was the father and the dad of another prophet. Does anyone know who that prophet was? Sulaiman alayhi salatu wasalam. So Sayyidina Dawud, Prophet David, and they call him David in English, he was a prophet and a king. But does anyone know how he became a prophet and a king? How does that work? So that's what we're about to find out inshallah. When Prophet Dawud alayhi salam was a young man, he was a normal person in the Banu Israel. And the Banu Israel means the children of a man called Israel. Okay? Israel is the name of a prophet called Yaqub. He had two names, Yaqub and Israel. Yaqub alayhi salam had 12 sons. And they were Prophet Yusuf and his brothers. Joseph, Binyamin, they had altogether 12 siblings. All of them were the children of Sayyidina Yaqub. So now, if we say in Arabic one son, we say ibn. But if we say plural sons, we say abna. Okay? So we can say abna Yaqub, or another way of saying is Banu Yaqub or Banu Israel. Means the same thing. These are the descendants and the sons and the grandchildren of Sayyidina Yaqub alayhi salatu wasalam. From this lineage and from this family came the great prophet Sayyidina Musa, isn't it? Sayyidina Musa and Harun. Sayyidina Musa and Harun were prophets from the children of Sayyidina Yaqub. But there were many more prophets as well from that same family tree, that same lineage. And of those great prophets was Sayyidina Dawud, David, and Sulaiman, Solomon, alayhi salatu wassalam. At the beginning, Sayyidina Dawud was a normal young man. In fact, he was a shepherd. And as you know, all prophets took care of sheep in their life because that taught them a lot of life skills on how to be a caretaker, how to be patient, how to be kind, and how to be gentle, and so on and so forth. So Sayyidina Dawud initially was not a prophet, of course, and initially he was not a king either. He was a shepherd. At the time when Sayyidina Dawud was a young shepherd, they had a prophet. And the prophet of that time, his name was Shamuel alayhi salam. There are some differences onto the name. Okay? So the people of Banu Israel, the people of it was the Palestine area, the Sham area. Okay, at that time, the Banu Israel of that time, because as you know, when Sayyidina Musa was victorious and Allah gave him victory over Pharaoh in Egypt, they traveled across the Red Sea, didn't they? Now, if you go on the map right now and you see Egypt, and then you see next to it the Red Sea, isn't it? Suez Canal, Red Sea. What's on the other side? Saudi Arabia on one side, Yemen, yes, but also Palestine. So when Sayyidina Musa crossed the Red Sea, they went into Palestine. So that means the Banu Israel, the followers of Sayyidina Musa, were in Palestine. But what happened is, after a period of time, some oppressive, violent criminals, some very tyrannical, strong men took over. And they were known as the Amaliqa, the Amaleks. The Amaliqa. They became powerful and they basically started oppressing Banu Israel, these children of Sayyidina Yaqub, his descendants, once again. So that means at that time they were weak. And the prophet of the time was Shamuel alayhi salam. So now these people that are following Shamuel alayhi salam from Banu Israel, they don't want to live in this way that they're being oppressed all the time. They don't want to live like they are a target all the time. A bit like how the Palestinians and Gazans are now. They're a target and victim all the time. But over there, back then, it wasn't as bad as it is now. Right now, we can see that there are children, women, everyone's being killed every day. But even back then, they were oppressed. The people of Palestine were oppressed. Okay? So, they requested their prophet, Shamuel, O Prophet of Allah, we need a king. We need a king to fight behind. Does that make sense? So the way they saw it, the Prophet was there to guide them spiritually, to teach them about the deen, about Allah, about Islam. But they wanted a king to become warriors and fight behind for their own dignity and honor. You guys with me so far, yeah? So where are they living in? Palestine. Prophet Dawud is what at that time? He's a young man and he's a shepherd. The Prophet of the time, his name is Shamuel. The people say to their prophet, we want a king to do what? To fight behind, i.e. with the king, to defeat our oppressors, to defeat the Amaliqa, to defeat the Amalek. So Allah chose for them a king. Does anyone know what the name of that king was? Not yet. Talut. Okay, Talut. And this is mentioned in Surah Al-Baqarah towards the end of Juz 2. Allah says, أَلَمْ تَرَ إِلَى الْمَلَإِ مِنْ بَنِي إِسْرَائِيلَ مِنْ بَعْدِ مُوسَى إِذْ قَالُوا. And that means, أَلَمْ تَرَ. Have you not seen, have you heard the story? إِلَى الْمَلَإِ مِنْ بَنِي إِسْرَائِيل. About the people and the leaders from Banu Israel, from the children, the descendants of Yaqub alayhi salam, مِنْ بَعْدِ Musa, after Moses. So what we just said so far. إِذْ قَالُوا. When they said, لِنَبِيٍّ لَهُمْ. To a prophet that was their leader and their prophet at the time, إِبْعَثْ لَنَا مَلِكًا نُقَاتِلْ فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ. We need a prophet, we need a king to lead us into war so we can win and we can beat our tyrants. Okay? مَلِكًا نُقَاتِلْ فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ. قَالَ هَلْ عَسَيْتُمْ. So what did the prophet say to them? Okay, you guys want a king to fight behind. But he has a conversation with them first. You want a king, that's fine. But let's talk about this first. What's the conversation? قال هل عسيتم إن كتب عليكم القتال ألا تقاتلوا. What if Allah gives you a king, but then you refuse to fight? You become lazy, you become scared, you become cowards, you don't want to go into war. Does that make sense? Do you understand the conversation? So the Prophet is saying, listen, I'm going to ask Allah for a king, but you have to be serious. You can't be messing about. You can't be scared and cowards afterwards. You can't become lazy. You want a king to fight behind? You better be ready for a fight. That's the conversation. قال هل عسيتم إن كتب عليكم القتال ألا تقاتلوا. So what did the people say? قالوا. They said, وما لنا ألا نقاتل في سبيل الله وقد أخرجنا من ديارنا وأبنائنا. They respond to the Prophet Shamuel alayhi salam, why would we not fight? Of course we will fight. They're giving promises. We will fight. Because we've been removed from our homelands. We've been oppressed. Okay? وَمَا لَنَا أَلَّا نُقَاتِلَ فِي سَبِيلِ وَقَدْ أُخْرِجْنَا مِنْ دِيَارِنَا وَأَبْنَائِنَا. We've been forced out of our homeland. And then what happened? فَلَمَّا كُتِبَ عَلَيْهِمُ الْقِتَالِ تَوَلَّوْا إِلَّا قَلِيلًا مِنْهُمْ. So Allah then made for them a king and made for them a battle so that they can win and become victorious and go back to their homeland and become united with their family and their children again. Go back to their original homeland. Okay? But however, when Allah gave them a prophet and gave them an opportunity to fight, فَلَمَّا كُتِبَ عَلَيْهِمُ الْقِتَالِ تَوَلَّوْا. Most of them, what did they do? They ran away. So now remember guys, it's very easy to want to have a fight. But when the fight happens, will you be courageous? Will you be brave? That's the question that we're learning from here. That's one of the morals that we're learning so far. So these people, they wanted to become victorious, but they're not willing to put in the effort. So the first moral that we're learning as Shabab is that if you want to achieve something in life, you have to be serious. You have to sacrifice. You have to be willing to do hard work. So many people today, they want to be rich. They want to be hafiz. They want to be Shaykh. But they don't want to do any hard work. They want to do it, get it for free. So many young men today, they want to be successful, but they want it for free. That's not how life works. Allah has given you so many strengths. Allah has given you 2 hands, 2 feet, 2 eyes, 2 ears, a body, a mind, intelligence. Allah wants us to use these things to do hard work, to achieve, to be successful, to be victorious. We can't be making excuses and being lazy, because being lazy is not from Islam. Being lazy is not from Islam. So let me ask you a question. Are you guys lazy? Do you want to be hard-working people, inshallah? Inshallah. That's good. So Sayyiduna Shamuil says to them, listen, you have to be serious. Then their prophet Shamuil tells them, Allah has chosen a prophet for you. Allah has chosen a king for you. Inna Allah وَلَمَّا فَصَلَ طَالُوتُ بِالْجُنُودِ. Okay? The prophet says Allah chose a king for you. Who is the king? Talut. King Talut. His name is what? King Talut. The prophet says, Shamuil says, your king is now Talut. You want to fight? He's your leader. Go and follow him. But guess what the people started to do? They started to make excuses again. They said, why did Allah choose him as a king? He should be someone more respectable. But that's not the real reason. The real reason is they're being cowards. They're trying to go back on their promise. They don't want to do the hard work. They just want to be victorious for free. But nothing in life is for free. They said, why did Allah choose Talut, Why didn't Allah choose someone better? This is a bit similar to, remember, in the life of our Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, when Allah chose Prophet Muhammad as the Prophet, what did the disbelievers say? You know what? Allah should have chosen a different Prophet, a different man. This goes to show you, Shabab, that if you want to believe, you're not going to make excuses. If you want to work hard, you're not going to make excuses. Making excuses is not from the qualities of a believer. Muslims, they're hardworking, they're serious, and they don't blame something else. They take the responsibility themselves. So when Allah chose Prophet Talut as their prophet, they were basically being a bit shaky. They're trying to go back on their promise and their vow to fight for their homeland. But then Prophet Talut said, listen, you might be thinking that this King Talut is not suitable for you, but Allah has chosen him for you. وَزَادَهُ بَسْطَةً فِي الْعِلْمِ وَالْجِسْمِ. Allah gave him knowledge. Allah gave him strength in his body. Allah has chosen him for you. So don't go back on your words now. Don't go back on your words now. Go forward. So now all of this is happening while Prophet Dawud is still a young man. He's not in the scene yet. He's not in the limelight yet. He's not the main personality and the figure of the story just yet. The ground and the situation is being set up and the platform is being set up for him to shine, for him to become victorious. So this is the background story. Nonetheless, they go for war. What do? They go for war. Who's the king? Tell me. Talut. Who's the prophet? Shamuil. Who are the followers? Banu Israel. Descendants of Prophet Yaqub alayhi salatu wasalam. Where are they going to fight to? Palestine. Now, the king who's leading them says, listen, you want to go to battle? Then I have a test for you. What's the test? King Talut says, if you want to go to battle and go to fight, then I have a test for you. The test is that you are going to come to a river. But you can't drink from it. Now imagine traveling in the desert, in the scorching heat, and you're traveling for ages and you're preparing with all of your armor and your weapons, and you're going to battle, but then all of a sudden the leader says, there's water but you can't drink from it. Is that an easy command or a difficult command? Very difficult command. But furthermore, he says only one exception. You can only have one sip, one gulp. إِلَّا مَنِ اغْتَرَفَ غُرْفَةً بِيَدِهِ. One scoop of water you can have, not more than that. So now, guys, remember how the people were excited to go and fight for their homeland and they wanted to be brave? When they actually set off, originally there was 80,000 of them. How many? 80,000. But when they dispatched, when they actually left for the battle, only 4,000 marched. And when Allah tested them with the river, everyone drank from it, with just a few remaining. With just a few remaining. So from 80,000, the army became 4,000. Everyone is drinking up, gulping up the water. They're being hasty. They're not listening to their leader. Now, this was a test to see how committed and how serious they are. Look, not drinking water is hard. But guess what's harder? Fighting a battle. Does that make sense? So he's training them saying, are you guys ready to listen to commands? If you can obey this command, then that means you can obey me in the battlefield. That's the test for them. Unfortunately, most of them failed. So what happened? فَشَرِبُوا مِنْهُ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا مِنْهُمْ. Only a few of them abstained, only had their one scoop, one fair share that they're allowed to have. فَلَمَّا جَاوَزَهُ هُوَ وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا مَعَهُ. Then eventually, when these 4,000, when they crossed over or went past the river, guys, are you guys imagining the story, yeah? 80,000 strong marching, river comes, they can't drink, most fail, 4,000 or so carry on. Now eventually, they come to meet the opposition army. And the opposition army are Amaliqa, Amaleks, they're huge and mighty. And their leader, their main army leader, is a man called Goliath. Jalut in Arabic. Does that make sense, guys? So now the armies are seeing each other. On the one side you have King Talut, Shamwil. Prophet Dawud is in the background there, looking after the sheep and helping them with other things. He's not a hero just yet. And on the opposition, you have Goliath, the Amaliqa, powerful, strong men, very dangerous, very tyrannical, very oppressive. If they grab you, they're not going to let you go. They'll either kill you or make you a slave. It's a very dangerous battle. So now when the two armies see each other, they see the massive Goliath and the huge soldiers behind him. The followers of King Talut, they got scared. So now from 4,000, so many, most of them started to run away. And only 300 and something, around 13 or basically more. Many scholars say 313, like Badr, they remained. 300 or so men remained to fight. Now can you imagine from the 80,000 to 4,000 to 300? Now can you imagine how small this group is? So small. But they decided that, you know what? We've come all this way and we are fighting for our own freedom. We are fighting for our own homeland. We are fighting to protect our families and our children. We're not going to give up. What did they say? They're not going to give up. Did they give up? No. 300 of them said, we're not going anywhere. فلما جاوزه قالوا فلما جاوزه هو والذين آمنوا معه قالوا لا طاقة لنا اليوم بجالوت وجنوده قال الذين يظنون أنهم ملاقوا الله. Those 300 that remained, they had full iman because they realized at the end of the day we're fighting for freedom, but this life is not the end of it. We are going to meet Allah. We're fighting for Jannah. We're not just fighting for dunya, we're fighting for Jannah. And then they said to reassure themselves, كم من فئة قليلة غلبت فئة كثيرة بإذن الله والله مع الصابرين. There's only 300 of them. And they're telling each other, they're reassuring each other, listen, it doesn't matter that 80,000 have left us. It doesn't matter that 4,000 have left us after crossing or passing the river. It doesn't matter it's only 300 of us now. What matters is that we are fighting and we're defending for our own freedom, for our own family, for our own children, for our own homeland, and for the sake of Allah. That's what matters. Again, this is a bit similar to what's happening right now in Palestine. So many of us are trying to do so many things to raise the voice of the Palestinians. We're campaigning, we're active on social media. And it feels like so many people are against us. It feels like so many people are against the Palestinians. But the Palestinians, will they give up? Will they ever give up? It's already been 77 years and they will never give up. Do you know why? Because they are fighting for their own freedom. This country, this land is theirs. They were killed in millions. Imagine if the killers can kill in this way when there's cameras and there's streaming and there's pictures. Imagine what they did when there was no cameras. Can you imagine this? If they can do this while there is social media, imagine the kind of crimes that were committed when there was no social media. And it's recorded in history. What happened in Palestine in the recent times, since the colonial period, since the establishment since the occupation of Palestine, right? The way they were burning villages, killing people. So they will never give up. And that's one of the things about the people of Palestine. They are very courageous. They are very brave. They don't care if you are so powerful and if you have the world's superpowers on your side. If they know that they're in the right, if they know that they're in the just cause, they will never give up. So the Palestinians, they will never give up because they know that they are fighting for their children, for their families, for their homeland, and for the sake of Allah. Do you get it? Similar way, the people of Sayyiduna Dawud, i.e. the followers of Talut and what did we say? Shamwil alayhi salam, right? They knew that, listen, it doesn't matter if our numbers are few. At the end of the day, we're doing it for the sake of Allah. And if Allah wants to make us victorious, He'll make us victorious. Does that make sense? Do you like their thinking? Isn't that courageous? Isn't that brave? That's what Islam teaches us. To be brave and courageous and to stand our ground. And if someone is oppressing you, if someone is bullying you, you should never let them bully you. You should be patient, but don't let anyone bully you. Don't let anyone take advantage of you. Defend yourself, defend your family, defend your honor, defend your deen, your dignity and your honor and your homeland. So they said, we're not going anywhere. Even though it's only 300, we're still going to stay here. Goliath, Jalut and his army, they're feeling very happy. They're like, this is a piece of cake. We're going to finish them easily. Because they think we've got a big army. These guys, miskin, they have nothing. So the battle begins. And the army of Talut are getting defeated. They're taking hits. They're taking significant hits. Damage after damage. And the Amalika, Jalut, are winning. They're smashing it. They're doing really well. So then, King Talut says to his people, his army, let's retreat, let's talk. We need to have a group discussion. We need to regroup. We need to plan again. We need to do something different. It's not working. We're taking hits. We're taking damage. Let's plan again. So he gathers his army. He gathers his army, and this is what he says to them. Listen to this very carefully. He gathers everyone, even the shepherds, including who? That's our hero coming in now. He says to everyone, whomsoever can kill that leader Jalut, the oppressive tyrant, if you can take Jalut out, then that means the army will become weak, because that's their leader. And Prophet, the King Talut says, whomsoever can eliminate Goliath, I will give you the biggest reward you can imagine. I will make you king after me. And I will give you my daughter to marry. That's what he says. I'll make you my family member. And you will become a king after me. So everyone's watching and listening. This is an amazing offer. Everyone wants this. And Sayyidina Dawud, who's a young man at that time, realized that this is an offer for him as well. So even though he was a shepherd, he had a special talent that no one knew about. He had a special talent that no one knew about. He was a master, what do you call them? Sling shooter. No one knew about this. That was his secret talent. You know, so many people that have a secret talent. That was his secret talent. Sayyiduna Dawood says, I got this. Not in that way, but he says, this is me. I think I can do it. What, young boy? Dawood? You're not even a proper soldier. You're just a young man. He says, no, I think I got this. So now he gets his slingshot out and he puts 3 stones inside it. And he spins and spins and he gathers speed, brings that velocity together, brings that energy together, and he fires the shot right in the middle of the forehead of Goliath, and he falls dead on the spot. Subhanallah, yes. By the power of Allah. Goliath got defeated by a small boy and a pelting stone. Everyone is just shocked. The army of Goliath start running. They're fleeing. They're like, this boy is dangerous. We're not going to go for him. If a little boy can do that, imagine the soldiers. We can't handle this. So everyone's running everywhere. The Amalika are running. Goliath is gone. And then the army of Talut go forward and they basically win easily. Right? Now who do you think is the hero of this battle? Everyone is like, قَتَلَ دَاوُدُ جَالُوتَ قَتَلَ دَاوُدُ جَالُوتَ قَتَلَ دَاوُدُ جَالُوتَ. David killed Goliath. He's the hero of the whole country. He's the hero of Banu Israel now. Now the king, Talut, he has to keep up his promise, right? That he has to give his kingdom to Sayyidina Dawud. So then eventually that moment comes when Talut gives his kingdom, his monarchy to Dawud, and also he marries his daughter, and now Prophet Dawud becomes not just a king, but Allah gives him more. He makes him a prophet too as well, subhanallah. Now this is, Wallahu a'lam, this is the first time we had a king and a prophet at the same time. Before this, they were looking for prophet and a king separate. Now Allah combined both of them in Sayyidina Dawud alayhi salatu wassalam by the permission of Allah. So now you might be thinking, how did this happen? How did this great favor of Allah come to Prophet Dawud? It is because he came from pious family, pious predecessors. He himself was a good man, a noble man, so Allah blessed him and Allah raised him and Allah honored him. Now young Dawud alayhi salatu wassalam isn't just the hero. Allah is going to give him many more gifts because Allah wants to teach everyone that Dawud is a powerful prophet and a king. So Allah gives him new powers. Slingshot was just the beginning. Allah is about to give him new powers that you can't even imagine. You guys with me, yeah? Some of you guys watch Iron Man, you think, yo, Iron Man is sick. He's got bare powers. Imagine, or maybe you watch X-Men and see Magneto and you think, yo, this guy he's got magnets, he can control the metals. Sayyiduna Dawud, with his bare hands, was able to melt iron. Iron is the most hardest material. He would bend it with his bare hands and he would make them into shields and sword and armor. And then he would sell that in the marketplace. And because it was such a masterpiece, such an amazing piece of work, made with his own bare hands, it's handcrafted, it used to have a lot of value. And it used to be sold for high prices. And you know our Prophet Muhammad praised Prophet Dawud, saying he was amazing and he was praiseworthy because he used to earn money from the work of his own hands. Does that make sense? Many people, they want free money. They want, give me money instead. They don't want to do no work. But the Prophet praised him, said he used to work hard, make armor, make shields, make swords, sell it and earn his own money. That's praiseworthy. Subhanallah. So now Allah gave him the power of melting iron with his bare hands. You thought that was cool. He's got more powers coming. Subhanallah, from his powers that Allah gave him is that when Allah gave him the book Zabur, and even before that, in fact, Allah gave him immense wisdom and knowledge. Wisdom. He used to understand everything very fast, very clever, very intelligent. By the way, wisdom is not the same as being sly and clever. You know, clever is one thing, but wisdom is when you use your intellect and your mind and your knowledge for the greater good. For the good. Because some people who are clever, but they use their cleverness for the wrong reasons, isn't it? They're the sly ones. But when you use your intelligence for good, then you are wise. When you use your knowledge for good, then you are wise. So Allah gave him wisdom too. Furthermore, when Allah eventually gave him the book, the holy book to Sayyidina Dawud was called what? Zabur. When Allah gave him Zabur, Allah gave him the ability to recite it in, according to some scholars, 70 different voices. And his voice was so beautiful when he would recite the Zabur that everything would stop to listen. Scholars say in tafsir, based on the tafsir of Ya Jibalu awwibi ma'ahu wat-tayr wa alanna lahu al-hayd, Allah says in Surah Al-Saba, that when he used to recite the Zabur, even the birds would recite with him. And the mountains would praise Allah with him, subhanallah. Everything used to enjoy the recitation of Sayyidina Dawud alayhi salatu wassalam. So Allah gave him power, physical power. Allah gave him intellectual power. Allah gave him wisdom. Allah gave him vocal power, fasl al-khitab. He was able to recite his Zabur the most beautiful way. And even more so, he was able to speak in the most beautiful way. You know, nowadays many of our people, they don't know how to speak properly. Every few sentences, yo, in it, I can't lie, yeah. Those wings are so nice. So I was hoping you wouldn't lie about those wings, actually. Thank you for that caveat at the beginning. Every sentence starts with I can't lie, you know. Those wings are so nice, you know. Those chips are so... Look, the way you guys talk, some of these guys, you need to learn how to talk better. Okay, with more vocabulary, more professionally, more smart. Does that make sense, guys? Because communicating is a very important skill for a leader. If you don't know how to have communication, if you don't have communication skills, then you can't be successful. You can't speak to your brothers, your sisters, your parents. You can't communicate with your teachers. You can't communicate with your wife, your husband. You can't communicate with your people. And everyone's going to misunderstand you. You're going to misunderstand them. And there's going to be fights and beef. I'm not talking about HMC beef. I'm talking about that beef. Because of lack of communication. Whoa. The point is, my young friends and all of our respected attendees, we're learning so much. Courage, bravery, standing up for your rights, fighting for justice, okay? To have wisdom, to have knowledge, to rely upon Allah, to use your talents. Everyone has got different talents. Use your talents for the sake of Allah. Right, guys? Not everyone's got the same talent. People have different talents. Use your secret talents or your special talents for the sake of Allah. Right? And then Allah will bless you more. Learn to have good communication skills. Speak properly. I think this is a very good message for our young people especially. Are you guys with me, yeah? Isn't it true, like, especially us East Londoners, we don't want to use too many words. Most of our words are like, in it, you get me, bruv, and all of that. Repeating those same words. Probably use about 100 words repeatedly. We need to learn to communicate better. See how great speakers speak. See how great teachers speak. Because the Prophet ﷺ also had great communication skill. And to be a teacher, you have to have great communication skill. To be a leader, you have to have great communication skill. To be an example, you have to have great communication skill. And you have to speak to every group of people in a way that they will understand you. Those of you who attend my Jummah, do I speak like this in Jummah? Yes or no? Make your mind up. Okay. No, I don't, because Jummah is a different audience. But this is story time for my young visiting friends. So I have to speak slower, I have to repeat, I have to make it understandable. So I'm trying to copy that message that you're supposed to speak to people based on what will engage them and they will understand it. Communication is very important. So may Allah give us all great communication skills. Say Ameen. طيب. Now Sayyiduna Dawud is a prophet and a king. What do you think he's going to use his powers for? To oppress people? To take advantage of people? Or to serve people? To serve people. Every day, this is how he would spend his time. Are you ready to hear it? During the daytime, throughout the day, he would be helping people to make decisions, to make judgment between people fairly. Does that make sense? People have different fights, different quarrels, different kind of misunderstandings. He would be a judge. He would be a judge for them. And help them to reach justice through his judging. That's how he used his authority. If Allah gives you power, guys, inshallah Allah will make you powerful one day. When Allah gives you power, Allah gives you authority, then use your power for good. Don't use it for bad. Do you get it? If Allah gives you money, don't waste it. Use it for good. Invest in it for justice, for fairness. So Allah gave him power, authority, he used it for good. During the daytime, he will be helping people. During the night time, 1/3 of the night, he would be in salah praying to Allah. 1/3. That means from 6 hours, he would be spending 2 hours, whole 2 hours worshipping Allah. And for fasting, he would fast not every day, but every other day. All of us, we only fast Ramadan. Maybe you fast Shawwal and the special days, and maybe the Monday and Thursday. But Sayyiduna Dawud, he used to fast every other day. Monday fast, Tuesday break. Wednesday fast, Thursday break, like that. Every other day he would be fasting. And the Prophet ﷺ praised that. Because he had so many things to praise. His knowledge, his wisdom, his piety, his ibadah. You know what happens, yeah? Many people, and I've seen this with my own eyes, they might be very pious, very good people, but when they become a bit rich, when they become a bit famous, they start becoming corrupt. Is that allowed? Is that fair? No, wallahi, Allah has blessed you and now you're using your money and fame that Allah gave you to disobey Allah. That's not fair. That's not right, and Allah will hold you to account for that. Sayyiduna Dawud did the exact opposite. He was using his powers to serve people. Furthermore, he would spend the rest of his time, of course, resting, being with his family, and also reciting his Zabur. He would recite the Zabur regularly. Every day, he would recite the Zabur regularly. If you look into the kitab like Bidayah and Nihaya, they refer to the Zabur as Quran, because Quran means to recite again and again and again. So this is a reminder for you Hifz students and young students that you need to keep continuous with your Quran. Recite it every time, and that will increase your memory, your intelligence, your hikmah, your knowledge, everything. Allah will bless it with your excessive Quran. Sayyiduna Dawud used to be very committed. He spent his whole life helping people. And there are some amazing examples of when he was so fair. When he was so fair in his judgment. I'll give you one example. One day, 2 men come to Sayyiduna Dawud and say, we have a problem. What's the problem? One of the men says, listen, O Prophet Dawud, I have a garden of grapes. I have a garden of grapes. And he has a flock of sheep. What does he have? What happened is one day, his flock of sheep went into my garden of grapes and destroyed my garden. O Prophet Dawud, please give us a fair judgment. Does that make sense? You understand the case? Something amazing was happening at the same time. Sat next to Dawud was his young son, Sulaiman. Okay? Allah gave Sayyiduna Sulaiman from a young age, because his father also had wisdom. And imagine seeing your father like this on a daily basis, being wise, being just, being fair, being a leader, being an example. Of course, the children are going to learn the same thing and are going to become better even. Sayyidina Sulaiman is watching. He was very sharp, very intelligent. So Prophet Dawud says, okay, I have a solution for you. You guys with me? He says, we're going to do a swap. The one who has the flock of sheep, you're going to give your sheep to the man whose garden was damaged. And the one whose garden was damaged, okay, you're going to give your damaged garden to the one whose sheep destroyed it, basically, because he's blameworthy, and you get to take his sheep. Does that sound fair to you? Good question. Hold on. Let me explain again. The sheep damaged the garden. Sayyidina Dawud said, you're going to swap. Because this guy, his sheep, damaged your garden, you don't have to keep your garden anymore. Give your garden to him, because it's damaged, and you take his healthy sheep. Does that sound fair to you? Sounds good, right? But guess what? There's a better solution. That's when Sulaiman sat next to him and says, Abbi or Baba, Ya Walidi, he says, I have a better solution. And he's like, okay, young man, let's hear it. But do you see how much respect and love there is between a father and a son? You know, we're not supposed to be with young people, just shun them. Imagine if it was one of us now, they're like, shh, what do you know? This is a big man's discussion. Shh. Or in a Bengal, matisna, no, bisar. They say this like, you know, they say something, wherever language you come from, like, stay quiet. But no, Sayyidina Dawud was fair and just, and he respected everybody. And he gave a chance to his son Sulaiman to speak. Sulaiman says, alayhi salatu salam, to Prophet to become, he says, Baba, I have a better solution. He goes, okay, let's hear it then. And that's how you teach. By giving a chance, isn't it? You know what? I'm going to say a point right now. In Ramadan, who prayed Ramadan Darul Ummah, Tarawih? Most of you did, okay. Did you see how we gave kids chance to lead Tarawih? Is that a good idea? Makes sense. Most people understand that. But guess what? Some people were angry. Like, well, hold on, why are you angry for? Why are you angry at me? Or they're angry because we're giving a chance to young people to lead. But how are they supposed to learn then? Or because they will make mistakes. Well, how do you correct if you don't make a mistake? So all of us understand. No one in Darul Ummah complained. But some people from outside were like, oh, this is... We're like, are you okay? We're trying to encourage our young people by giving them a chance to lead us to Salah, of Sunnah, of Tarawih. And you have a problem with that from outside. It's ajib. But we see this, that even Sayyidina Dawud and Sulaiman, Sayyidina Dawud could have said, hey, this is a court of judgment. Young man shouldn't be speaking in here. It's a serious matter. Instead he said, go ahead. What's your solution? Let's hear it. So now listen carefully, because you'll miss it otherwise. This is more sophisticated, more complicated than the previous one, but it's more fair at the same time. Sayyidina Sulaiman said to his dad Dawud, Abu, father, ya walidi, I think this is a better judgment. What? Do you remember what happened in the first place? That sheep went inside, destroyed the garden of grapes. Sayyidina Dawud said, swap, straight swap, and that will be fair. He says, Abu, how about this? How about the garden that's damaged is given to the man with the sheep until he fixes it. Until he fixes it. It might take 3 months, 6 months, 1 year. And in that time that he's fixing it, repairing it, the man who had the garden takes the sheep to drink from his milk, to benefit from his flock, and so on. And when the damage is repaired, the garden is now fixed, then they swap back again. So now, the damage is repaired, and the fairness is also there, because the man who has a garden doesn't want sheep. Because if he wanted a garden, if he wanted sheep, he would have gone and bought sheep. So that means he prefers a garden. If you do a complete swap, then it's not the same thing as repairing the damage and then going back to the way it was, happily ever after. Does that make more sense? Is that more fair? That was a suggestion of the young Sulaiman alayhi salatu wasalam. Amazing, right? Subhanallah. So we learn so much from this. There's another thing that happened at the time of Sayyidina Dawud. One day he's praying in his house in the night time. All of a sudden, two men appear in front of him. But they were not men. What were they? Angels. They were angels. Sayyidina Dawud is like, what's going on? I'm praying salah. He's a bit angry, he's a bit shocked. What's going on? It's a sudden shock. This is not the time for judgment. Say, Ya Dawud, we came to you for a judgment. He's thinking, well, this is not the time for judgment. I'm trying to worship Allah. Come at the daytime. So no, it's urgent. And Allah talks about this also in the Quran, in Surah Sad. Okay, إِذْ تَسَوَّرُوا الْمِحْرَابِ إِذْ دَخَلُوا عَلَى دَاوُودَ فَفَزِعَ مِنْهُمْ. He was shocked, he was a bit scared, worried. Who are these people just coming into my house? قَالُوا خَصْمَانِ بَغَى بَعْضُنَا عَلَى بَعْضٍ. There's a quarrel between us. So now this was actually not a real judgment, it was actually a test from Allah. And what's the test we're about to find out? The two angels say, we have a problem, we have a quarrel. What's the quarrel? Does anyone know what the quarrel is, by the way? I'm saying, but you know what the argument is about? Okay, I'll tell you now. Sayyidina Dawud says, okay, fine. You came at a wrong time, you're disturbing me. Khalas, let me hear it. What's the case? One man says, Inna hadha akhi. This man is my brother. Okay? له 99 نعجة ولي نعجة واحدة. Okay? He has 99 animals and I only have one. Okay? That's what he's saying. So look, he's building the case, he's explaining what happened. He says, this man is my brother. There's two of them. This man is my, but they're not actually human beings, they're angels. They came to test the Prophet Dawud and Allah is about to teach him something. A wisdom. Guys, stay quiet, we're nearly about to finish. And then you can have your goodie bags. Okay. Inna hadha akhi. My brother has got 99 animals and I only have one. What do you think the 99 one said to just one? He said, listen, I got 99 animals, you got one. How about you just give me that one? Is that fair? That's done, man. That's finished. That's so sad. He should have said, let me give you 49, make it 50-50, half. No, but he wants to be a bit greedy. It's a hypothetical argument. وَعَزَّنِي فِي الْخِطَابِ. And then he says, listen, he managed to convince me with his words. Because he's so good with his words. You know, some people are more convincing. Have you been to those, like sometimes the salesman, this car is so good, you have to buy it right now and they'll convince you. Right? وَعَزَّنِي فِي الْخِطَابِ. He basically took this last remaining na'ja from me and he basically convinced me and he convinced everyone else that I'm in the wrong. Is that fair? Now Sayyiduna Dawud, he heard the story from one side. What should he do now? He should hear it from the other side. Isn't that correct? But Sayyiduna Dawud heard the story from one side and he got very, he was a bit annoyed. He said, how can you do that? This man only had one animal. He took his one and then you also convinced everyone else that he's in the wrong. He said, no. لَقَدْ ظَلَمَكَ بِسُؤَالِ نَعْجَتِكَ إِلَىٰ نِعَاجِ. You're in the wrong. The man who wanted the extra one with the 99, you're wrong. But then he realized, hold on, I made a mistake. The mistake is that I judged before listening to the other side. So he started to do istighfar to Allah. Okay? فَاسْتَغْفَرَ رَبَّهُ وَخَرَّ رَاكِعًا وَأَنَابَ. He said, Allah, forgive me, I made a mistake. I should have listened to both parties. Because that's how you judge, isn't it? You're supposed to listen to both parties. Even though sometimes it seems like the truth is so obvious. And yet when it comes to judging between people, when it comes to mediation, you have to listen to both parties. Otherwise you will not be fair. You guys with me so far, yeah? So we learn from this how Sayyidina Dawud alayhi salatu wassalam was taught and how Sayyidina Dawud alayhi salatu wassalam had wisdom and kingdom. And guess what? During his time, because he was such a fair king, such a just ruler, Palestine was thriving. Whole of Sham was thriving. The believers were in peace and harmony. Everyone is in complete, there was no problems. Before that, the Amaliqa were trying to kill them. Now it was fine. They were living in peace because they were obedient servants of Allah and they were following their Prophet and they were being obedient and it was fine. There were so many more stories that happened at the time of Sayyidina Dawud, but we can't go into all of them because the story will become too long. Okay, so I'll speed up a little bit. Eventually, the Prophet Dawud reaches the age of 100. 100. Are you guys with me? Does anyone know how he got the age of 100? I'll give you a clue. Originally, he was supposed to only have 60 years, but then Allah gave him 100. Yes. That's his son. That's it. But that's another story for another day. The fact that you know is very clever. Well done for the Ayyub. Okay? Do you guys want to hear that story quickly? How did his age become from 60 to 100? Did you want to know? Are you guys sure? Okay. When Allah made Adam, Allah showed to Adam all of his children that will come. And then Sayyidina Adam said, Allah, who is this son of mine? He said, oh, that's Dawud, who's going to come in the future. I said, okay, how long will he live? Because he had a speciality. He had a special shafaqah and rahmah for him. He said, how long will this son of mine, Dawud, how long will he live for? Allah said, 60. He said, okay, Allah, please make it 100. Because he's going to be a good man. Let him live for 100 years. Allah said, are you willing to give him 40 from your age, O Adam? Because you're going to live 1,000. You're willing to subtract 40 from your age? He said, khalas, no problem. Take from my age, give him 100. And that's how Sayyidina Dawud got 100 years of age. So when he eventually became 100 years old, he was a prophet, he was a king, he has so many lovers and followers. Everyone loves him because he's so just and so kind. Now when he's getting old, do you think people are becoming sad or they're becoming happy? Sad. Because he's about to pass away. They love him so much. All of the leaders, the pious, everyone, they love him so much. And they think what's going to happen after him. But Allah Azza wa Jal will take care of them. Eventually Sayyidina Dawud one day goes to his house and finds the angel of death waiting for him. He says, how did you get inside? The door's locked. He had a massive mansion with all of his family. Okay? He had lots of family, lots of children, lots of spouses. Okay? How did he get in? He said, I am the one that fears no king. I'm not scared of you, Dawud. You might be a king and a prophet, but I'm not scared of you. He said, who are you then? He said, I am the angel of death. He said, what are you here for? He said, your time to go has come. He said, already? 100 years already? He said, why didn't you give me any notice? An email maybe, I don't know. It wasn't like that. But why didn't you give some notice? Why didn't you give me notice? Give me information. He said, of course I gave you notice. He said, what's that? He said, your father passed away. Your elders passed away. That was your notice that you're going to pass away too. What do you think was going to happen? You're going to be excused. Allah said in the Quran, كُلُّ نَفْسٍ ذَائِقَةُ الْمَوْتِ. One of the scholars said, one of the most surprising things about human beings is that they see people dying all around them, but think, I'm not going to die. Isn't that how you feel? Every single one of us feels secure somehow about death. Thinking, you know what? I know people are dying there. I know people are dying there. I know elders are dying. I know children are also dying, but somehow I'm not going to die. Shocking. That's how we are. We're very silly in that regard. So Sayyidina Dawud alayhi salatu wasalam passes away. The whole of Palestine comes to his janazah. They say 40,000 scholars alone attended his janazah. Whole of Palestine, everyone attended because they loved him so much and they miss him. But because it was such a sunny, scorching heat day, it was very difficult. Enter Sulaiman alayhi salam. Sulaiman wakes up, finds out that his father has passed away. Now he is in charge. That's his son. He is supposed to lead his father's janazah, isn't it? By the way, ideally, the son should lead the father's janazah. That's why you should learn how to lead the janazah correctly. So I'm hoping, inshallah, when I pass away, my son will lead my janazah, because that's the best way, because you'll make better dua for me. Inshallah. That's why we should bring up our kids in the correct way. Sayyidina Sulaiman comes and is about to lead the janazah. But did we say it was a scorching hot day? The sun is out everywhere. The sun is? Remember how Dawud alayhi salatu wasalam was to be able to communicate and speak to the birds? Or the birds they used to listen to his tilawah? So even the birds attended his janazah. And the scholars say that the whole of the sky became dark. They even shadowed out the sun because of how many birds attended his janazah. But then all of a sudden, it became extremely dark. There was a problem where like this was a bit too much, so Sayyiduna Sulaiman, enter, like we said, enter Sulaiman, the next hero coming into the story. Everyone is watching what's going to happen now. Sulaiman comes forth, he's about to lead the janazah. And without speaking to anyone else, Sayyiduna Sulaiman, you guys listening to this? Without speaking to anyone else, Sayyiduna Sulaiman speaks to the birds. Says, birds, make way, give some air to come through. And they realize, whoa, we thought Dawud was powerful. This Sulaiman, he's about to be next level because he can speak to birds. He can speak to birds. And he addresses his people, says, Ya ayyuhan nas, O my people, Sayyidina Sulaiman, Allah talks about in Surah An-Naml, علمنا منطق الطير وأوتينا من كل شيء إن هذا لهو الفضل المبين. Sayyidina Sulaiman says, O people, I have been taught the language of the birds. And Allah has given me everything. I've got everything. إن هذا لهو الفضل المبين. Indeed, this is a great favor of Allah. Allah then says, وَحُشِرَ لِسُلَيْمَانَ جُنُودُهُ مِنَ الْجِنِّ وَالْإِنسِ وَالطَّيْرِ فَهُمْ يُوزَعُونَ. We talked about this, the story of Sayyidina Sulaiman many months back, last year. Allah gave Sayyidina Sulaiman after Dawud army of jinns, army of animals, army of birds, army of human beings. Nothing could come in his way. Nothing could come in his. Sayyidina Sulaiman was too powerful. Sayyidina Sulaiman became the inheritor of prophethood and kingdom after Sayyidina Dawud alayhi salatu wasalam. It was Sayyidina Sulaiman that built which masjid? Does anyone know? Masjidul Aqsa. Masjidul? Who built it? Sayyidina Sulaiman, son of who? Dawud alayhi salatu wasalam. Sayyidina Sulaiman was too powerful. No one could stand in his way. In fact, he made a dua to Allah. Allah, قال رب هب لي ملكا لا ينبغي لأحد من بعدي إنك أنت الوهاب. Every prophet is given one dua that will never be rejected. Sayyidina Sulaiman used his dua. Sayyidina Nuh used his dua. Sayyidina Adam used his dua. There's only one prophet that never used that one dua. Does anyone know which that prophet is? Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. What did he save it for? He saved it for Judgment Day, to make dua for his followers. Amazing. Can you imagine the rahmah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? But Sayyidina Sulaiman, he's allowed to use that dua. So he made the dua and said, Oh Allah, give me such a kingdom, such a monarchy, such a country, such a nation, that no one will ever be able to have that much power like me ever again after me. And that's why in Islam we know that there were two great Muslim men that ruled the whole world. One of them was Sulaiman, and the other one was Dhul Qarnayn. Dhul Qarnayn, mentioned in Surah Al-Kahf. Does that make sense, guys? So that's the story of Sayyidina Sulaiman, which we've done many months back. You can find it on YouTube, on our YouTube channel. If you want to watch it, find out, go listen. But Sayyidina Sulaiman, I just want to pick up on this point, built which masjid? Do you know about Masjid al-Aqsa? How many raka'at of salah do you get for one raka'ah in Masjid al-Aqsa? If you pray one raka'ah, you get the reward of how many raka'at in Masjid al-Aqsa? 500. This guy knows. Well done. Okay, another one. Sayyidina Sulaiman made a dua that, Oh Allah, whoever prays, whoever comes to Masjid al-Aqsa and prays therein, Oh Allah, grant them this reward. What's that reward? Let me say the question again so you understand it properly. Sayyidina Sulaiman made dua, Oh Allah, whoever comes to this masjid that I built, Masjid al-Aqsa in Palestine, the Quds, whoever comes to the Masjid al-Aqsa and prays in it, Oh Allah, grant them this special reward. Who is making this dua? Sayyidina Sulaiman. My question to you is, what is that dua? What did he say to grant them? Meaning, if I now go to Masjid al-Aqsa today, inshallah, one day we should all go. We have to all go to Masjid al-Aqsa, yeah? From around the world, all of us have to go to Masjid al-Aqsa. Okay, because there's a special reward. What is that reward? Yes. Jannah, okay? Forgive all of their previous sins. So now if you go to Masjid al-Aqsa from the UK, or from America, or from New Zealand, or from wherever you are in the world right now, if you're watching us, if you go to Masjid al-Aqsa and pray in there, then the dua of Sulaiman will help you, which is what? That Allah will forgive all of your previous sins. And for every rak'ah that you pray, Allah will give you the reward of 500 rak'ahs. And that's why us Muslims, we love Masjid al-Aqsa so much. And we love the people of Palestine so much because they are brave, courageous people. They are like the people of Sayyidina Dawud, who fought for their freedom and for their homeland, and fought and defended their homeland. And they never gave up. Guys, remember, never give up, and never give up hope especially. Are you with me, yeah? Never give up hope. Right now you're seeing what's happening in Gaza. You feel like, when is it going to end? Wallah, we can never give up hope, because Allah has said in Surah Al-Anbiya, وَلَقَدْ كَتَبْنَا فِي الزَّبُورِ. Again, it's Zabur, about Sayyidina Dawud. فِي الزَّبُورِ مِن بَعْدِ الذِّكْرِ أَنَّ الْأَرْضَ يَرِثُهَا عِبَادِيَ الصَّالِحُونَ. Allah's promises, indeed, the land shall be inherited by the pious, devout servants of Allah. So even though it's occupied, it will be inherited by the devout servants, Muslims and the believers of Allah Rabbul Izzati Jalla Jalaluh. Guys, I think you guys did amazing. Phenomenal. Well done. Now, I'm going to ask you some quick questions, quick fire questions. I want you to show me your hand. There's no prize because we don't have the QR codes today, because the TV screens are getting, the masjid is getting, can you see it's getting repaired a bit? Yeah? So inshallah next month when you come, all the screens will be back up. You'll have the QR code how you do normally. But today we're going to do just the normal quiz. But the prizes will save it. In fact, you know what? Our masjid secretary is here. Next month, we're not going to have 3 winners. We're going to have 6 winners. Is that fair? Because we're missing 3 winners from this month. So next month we'll have 6 winners. So make sure to come for next month's prize, because we missed this today because of the screens not being available. But next month you'll have 6 prizes to be won, and they're going to be good prizes. Last time we had scooter, Lego, science set, amazing stuff. But not to worry, we have free goodie bags with gifts inside for everyone that came today, okay? But before that, let's quickly, I'm going to revise the story with you guys with some questions. Are you guys ready? Put your hand up. Ready? What was the name of the prophet at the time of Sayyidina Dawud? Yes, sir. Shamil alayhi salam, well done. What was the name of the king that led them to win the battle against Goliath? Yes, young lady? You forgot. Go on. Talut. Well done. Before becoming a prophet, what was the occupation and the job of Prophet Dawud alayhi salatu wassalam? Yes, sir, with the cap. Excellent. What special secret talent did Sayyidina Dawud have to beat Goliath? Yes, Adam. That was afterwards. Go on, man with the hat. Slingshot. I've got a question, you might miss this one. Who were the oppressive tyrant people that were occupying Palestine, and they basically were bullying the people of these children of Sayyidina Yaqub alayhi salatu wasalam? Who were, what's the name of that nation? Huh? Nope. No, they were the people that were being oppressed. Who were the occupiers who were trying to beat them? Who were the team of Goliath? What are the name of that people? Go on. Yes, Amaliqa. Easy question. What country was it set in? Palestine. Well done. Okay, when they were traveling for the battle, there was a big number in the army. What was that number initially? Go on. 80,000. Then it shrunk to a smaller number. What was it? At the back? 4,000. When they crossed the river, they had one task to do, which was what? Yes, young lady? To not drink from the river. Ahsanti. How many of them fulfilled that command of not drinking from that water and were therefore victorious? Yes, young man with the white hat. But how many of them with him, Sayyidina Dawud? Guys, now let's choose a different hand. Yes, sir. 4,000. When the now battle started, So many people got scared and ran away, but only some remained. How many was that number that remained? Wow, everyone knows. Wait. Settle down, guys. Adam, go on. Excellent. Well done, mashallah. 300. Are you guys? Okay, that's good. That means you guys were listening very, very, very attentively. Sayyiduna Dawud had so many superpowers. Please tell me one of those superpowers. Yes, Ayub. You tell me. Too long. Yes, you tell me. Bend iron. Okay, good. Someone tell me another one. No. Let me see. Let me show you a new face. Yes, sir. Huh? Most beautiful voice. Anyone got anything else? Go on. Okay, that was before Prophet. Yes? We said that as well. Yes, sir, at the back. Speak to animals as in they understood his tilawa. Okay? Okay, guys, listen to this. Let me think. It's going to make you a hard one. There was once an argument from the followers of Sayyiduna Dawud, and they complained to him, and he had to judge between them. Okay? There were two men that owned two different types of things. What were those two different types of things? Hold on. Shh. Let me see. Look for a new hand. Okay, you're right at the front. Okay. He's going to make me. Yes, with the glasses, sir. Garden of grapes and a flock of sheep. Good man. Shall I ask you one not from what I've said? You sure? Okay, and I have to think of one now. Okay, I can't think of one that I haven't actually said already because I think I've said everything that's on my mind, top of my mind right now. But let me say this one. Okay. How many scholars from Banu Israel attended the janazah of Dawud alayhi salatu wasalam? Yes, young lady. Oh, legendary. Allahumma barik. Remember that. MashaAllah, tabarakallah. All right, guys, that's perfect. It's getting dark. So I don't know if you're going to go home before Maghrib or not. But inshallah, we'll end our session here now. You guys were phenomenal, by the way. You remembered all of the answers. And if there was a quiz, I'm sure you'd win everything. But remember, next month, end of May, we'll be having another story time. 6 prizes. But today, we do have goodie bags to be. Can I have some volunteers? Yasin, Wahid Islam, Nurul, can you please come to the front, please? Guys, put your hand down now. We're going to end it up, inshallah. Even Muhsin, come. Guys, can you move back a little bit now? Move back a little, make a bit of space. And inshallah, we'll be bringing you goodie bags now. Huh? No, it's already set up. Guys, sit back. Do we know how many goodie bags needed for the women's side? Do me a favor. Can someone go and find out how many goodie bags needed for the women's side? Actually, let me call someone that's in there. I have an agent in that side. Allahu Akbar. Are you in the women's side? How many children in the women's side? Quick count. Guys, stay seated, inshallah. The gifts are going to come to you. Quickly, come on. We have to, it's all going to finish here. Can we have 20 for the women's side and the rest could be distributed here? So Yasin or Nurul Bhai, can you please take it to the women's side, please? Nurul Bhai, please. No, it's fine. Just bring it to them because it's going to make a bigger mess. Khalas, guys, can you sit in the sufuf? Don't make a crowd. Make a straight line. Straight line on the saf. Straight line. Make straight lines, guys. Come on. Muin Bayasan, perfect. Yes. Barakallahu feekum. Guys, sit down. Everyone's going to get one. There's enough, by the way, inshallah. 20 for the women's side, and the rest of them, I think there's 80 more left. So that's more than enough, inshallah. Khalas, let's begin from the top left-hand corner with the man with the Azhari hat. Bismillah. One each, inshallah, yeah? For children only. Say Jazakallahu khairan, guys, when you receive it. That's how you're supposed to say. May Allah bless the family who prepared them for us. Yeah, guys, it's best if you don't open it now because it's going to be messy. Save it until you get out the masjid or go home, okay? Most welcome. MashaAllah, most welcome.
Following Facebook, Instagram, I would love to come during Ramadan.
Whenever you can, inshallah. Whenever you can.
So I thought,
Is that your son?
Yeah, it's my youngest son. He's doing
MashaAllah, nice to see you guys.
He led this year last two What you said is very correct. That's how.
Absolutely, we have to encourage them.
This time he completed Juzam and they started doing Juzam 29.
That's amazing. Allah bless you both and thank you for coming.
I play them during night, all the Prophet stories.
Yes.
So I thought
Amazing. They answered a lot of questions, mashallah. They did
when I
excellent.
saw it, I thought probably let me bring them. So this is opportunity.
Absolutely.
And also always want to meet you as well.
Let's make one announcement. Brothers and sisters, friends and family, children especially, thank you all for coming for this month's story time. Inshallah will be happening again next month, end of May, so keep your eyes open for the announcement and the poster, inshallah. Like we said, next month we'll do more prizes. For now, we'll end it here. Try to remember what we discussed, and if you want to share it with others, it's available on our YouTube live stream. Subhanakallahumma ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.